ready? We have everybody? Y'all ready to go now, or what?
I think we are.
Y'all ready? Do we have everybody?
Let me just get there's some people that are willing to do this.
That's right. What's up?
Oh shit from Jack, yeah. I'm gonna make Jack give the first question. Since he did that. He's ready. Video is not ready. No highlights. Restarting
Yeah, just your general thoughts from the defensive ends room right now, and just what are you seeing from that group? So
Yeah, no, I'm really pleased with the thing I'm seeing right now. I think our whole recruiting office did a really good job in the recruiting season of getting guys in here that are good character guys that love football, that want to be great, that want to be coached. Got some older guys in the room, some of the guys that you'll meet with today, Toby, Sama, and Vili. They're leading the charge right now. Manny's doing a great job. There's some guys that are younger guys, Talib, and, of course, K-Salt has moved to that room. He's doing a really good job, high energy, high effort guy. And then Lester, he's a young guy. So hoping some of the younger guys are going to continue to come along. And the older guys right now are the ones that are leading it. But, we don't have a depth chart. We have a rep chart. We're changing up the groups, practice to practice. You get what you earn. We have very high standards and expectations. And if you don't practice a certain way, go on to the next guy. So we're mixing it up. We're changing up the rotation. We're seeing what everybody's talent and ability is right now, what their superpower is, and we're putting guys in good positions to be able to make plays.
Hey, Coach, Leo Rivera, BuffSaintPete.com.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Good, man.
I just want to ask about your relationship with Coach Livingston and him moving on to the Broncos now, and what you thought about that. And then on the flip side of that, Chris Marvin, him coming in his scheme now.
Yeah, so love Rob. He's going to have a lot of success. I've worked with a lot of guys in the past. Some of you guys know, the places that I've been. I think Rob is going to be a head coach of the National Football League. I mean, he was there for a really long time, 12 years before he moved, was in the college ranks. And I'm really excited for him and his new opportunity. He's a close friend. We're still going to continue to talk. We have a great working relationship and friendship, and I'm wishing him the best. As far as Chris Marv, I've known about Chris Marv for a long time. We played against each other in college. Really, really high character dude. So that's the thing that means the most to me right off the bat. He's a man of principle. He's a man of integrity, does stuff the right way. He's buttoned up. He's very organized. He's very detailed. He's very passionate. He's high energy. He's enthusiastic. He knows how to run a room. He's got a lot of wisdom, not just for his age. I'm comparing him to the people that I've been around in the past that are, some of them, or multiple of them, are head coaches in the National Football League. He commands the room. I think he'll definitely be a Power 4 head coach at a blue blood type program. He's got that type of ability, and just a really good person. So it's been a privilege to stay on another year at the University of Colorado, and it's a great opportunity, as with some of the other coaches and new additions to the staff that we've brought in. So I'm really excited about it, and I'm looking forward to working with him this fall.
There's tons of different things to get into, but just following off of that, how does the defense change now? What types of things are you going to
I'm not going to get into too much schematics. That's a Coach Prime question or Chris Marv question. All right, but the biggest thing is how we play, with a violence, aggression, fast, smart, with great effort and energy, guys communicating across the board, knowing the technique and fundamentals, knowing how to strike blocks, knowing how to tackle, knowing how to run to the ball, playing really good eye discipline, putting our eyes in the right spot. Those are the biggest things that we're talking about this spring, and that's what I think spring ball is for. That's the nice thing about it. Of course, we like it as coaches, evaluation, all right, but you're trying to see who can do what, right? Because we haven't known these guys but for 2 months. So, Chris has a past history of a scheme, things that he's done and he's had success with. I'm sure we'll, continue to do some of those things, but it's not about the scheme right now. It's about how we play the game.
So in that vein, you talked about a rep chart, not a depth chart. How much of this spring compared to maybe springs in the past is about evaluation and really just assessing what you have in that room.
Yeah, no, that's big. I mean, like I'll speak for my room specifically. What is this guy's superpower? Is he a better 6 technique or 9 technique or 5 technique? Is he better in space, or is he better, going up against big tight ends and taking away the run as they're trying to run to the tight end? Okay, can he rush the passer? Is he more of a first and second down guy, or is he a third down guy? How does he do what? Like, we're just trying to find what they're best at. So, when fall camp comes around, we've got a really good idea of what we can do, what we can't do, and how we're going to do it.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned superpower a couple of times. Talking about your room, like, what do you envision the superpower of like the entire room being? When people watch kind of the edges, the defensive ends this year, like, what do you hope they kind of take away or kind of pops out on film when they watch?
Well, first off is like how we play. We got to stop the run. And last year, there were times where we couldn't do that. We couldn't hold up. So striking block, staying square, setting edges, building a run wall. When we're running a stunt movement, it's running at full speed. It's playing with violence, hat speed off the ball, doing that the right way. When I talk about superpower, I'm just saying, like, what does this player do best? And how do we coach him and put him in the right situation to be able to make plays? All right, and that doesn't just go for the edge room. That goes for, okay, well, what do we have in the defense tackle room? What are our linebackers good at doing that? Do they need to play closer to the ball, behind, with a little bit more depth? Are we twisting the front right here? Are we just playing it straight up? So what guys can do what, versus the calls that we're running. And I think we're starting to get a good idea of who does what. Thank you, Scott.
Hey, Coach. Nice to see you. A couple of questions for you. First off, you mentioned Helow. What do you like about him at that spot on the edge as opposed to the inside linebacker?
Well, first thing, like, he's a really good young man, and he goes really hard. So he's going to be a core 4 special teams guy for us like he did last year. He's matured a lot, and he gives great effort. Every practice that we've had so far, we always say, can we win with their performance on the field that day? And can we win with their effort? And K-Salt, he's been, effort has been there every day. So he's got a heck of a motor. Core 4 guy. He's got some pass rush ability. He's twitchy. He's very fast twitch muscle fiber guy. All right. So when he's running a stunt step or a movement, he gets there fast. As to why we moved him, that was ultimately Coach Prime's decision to do that. And I think it was a really good move. So guy's got talent. He's got ability. His attitude and effort's been tremendous. So I'm really looking forward to what he does in the fall.
And the second question for you is, Coach Prime talked to us a lot towards the end of last year that things were going to change, like everything was going to change. And aside from a lot of personnel, staff and players, what do you feel like has changed within the building as far as like culture or whatever? What's changed?
There's every place that I've ever been with, there's always change after the season. I think, like, we hyped that up a little bit too much. There's new faces in the building. I can't speak highly. Like, Coach does a really good job of seeing what it is and making the changes as need to be changed. And I applaud him for what he did in the offseason. As for the people that are in the building right now, since I've been here, it has just been the best practices, best energy, best effort, like cohesiveness, working together that I've seen. And I applaud him for that. Yeah.
Hey, Coach, sorry if this is too much of a scheme question, but it seems like you brought in a lot of different body types on that edge room. Just how is that going to help you be more versatile this year?
Yeah, I mean, we're, same thing that I was kind of talking about earlier, Jake. We're seeing what guys can do. Every, recruiting department did a really good job getting us different body types. The main focus was on production, right? So a lot of these guys that transferred in, they were high production guys. That's what we're looking for. You can sit here and say, oh, does the guy have the talent and the ability to be able to do this? Or when you watch the tape and you press play, he did this. You know what I'm saying? So, high performers, high achievers at the former schools that they're at. The scheme related stuff, not as worried about that. We're trying to see who can do what, who can play hard, who can play fast, who can play tough, who can hold up, and who does it the way that we're asking them to do it. So when I say that, like, who plays the integrity of the call, who doesn't make mental errors, who does it the right way, who's fast to the ball, playing full speed every rep.
Quincy Wiggins, guy that was used, kind of across the defensive line last season. What do you kind of envision for him moving forward?
That's he's playing inside right now, so that'd be a question for his coach. Yeah.
I was going to ask you about that. Obviously, in your coaching room, just a lot of changes, right? I mean, no longer Sapp and Echo, and now with Coach Carter in there with you working guys. Just out of curiosity, how has that transition gone and what have you seen from them?
Yeah, no, it's really good. Dante Carter was here last year. I've always had a good relationship with him. I played with his brother, Hayward Howard, in college at Ole Miss. And he's a young coach, but he's a coach with a lot of talent and ability, and he does a really good job. So he was a graduate assistant. So obviously last year we worked very closely together. He also worked for a guy named BT Jordan, who was with the Broncos and the Cowboys. Wealth of knowledge and experience, and Pun's very wise beyond his years for his age. There's stuff that me and all the places that I've been to, coaches that I've worked for, I go to him for advice as much as he'll come to me for advice. So it's really good. And then we've also, added a couple additions that, are doing a tremendous job. So I'm looking forward to working with him together. As for Sapp and Pecco, wish them the best, good dudes, but are no longer with us.
Coach, outside of the football perspective, which players are sticking out to you personality-wise and like character?
Players,
Yeah. Which players?
the ones I mentioned to before, really good, but we got a great room. I mean, high character guys, high effort, high energy. There's not like one specific guy that is doing everything the right way and the other ones aren't. So really, pleased with everybody in the room.
Coaches, what have you seen from Manny so far?
Manny, fast twitch muscle fiber guy, can rush the passer, has really good get off. We're working on him, just consistent body of work, trying to do it every time. And I could say that for everybody. I could say that about myself when I say consistent. So don't take that as a negative or condescending spin. He's got a good motor. And then he, for 254 pounds, like he can really hold up and strike a block. Originally when I saw the tape, I'd say, more of a third down guy. But in first and second down, he's doing everything that we've been asking him to do, and he's holding up in the run game. So really, really pleased with Manny.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Good to see you.